Welcome to Skotta. Today we're going to talk about my top 5 glamping essentials. First off, we start with the gloves. We always start with the gloves. This is the work glove from Hestra. This is number 2. They just recently they updated this version to a 3. So number 2 still has cowhide. The new one has goat leather. I really like these ones. I've had them for a long time. It's an essential when you're out glamping using a knife or an axe, or if you're using a America kitchen. It's basically like having an extra pair of skin. So you could grab the America if it's a little bit hot if you want. It's not fire retardant though, so be a little bit careful and just use them. Just use them with your knife, use them with your axe, and use them with anything. It's a good tight fit. They do flex a little bit once they're a little bit tough in the beginning. To take care of these gloves, just put some wax on there and then the leather will take that in. So must-have item. Actually, we keep the gloves on. And next up we have the knife. This is a knife from Engström. It's a brand. The specific model is called Losfelt knife, he's a famous explorer here in Sweden, at least that's what they say. This is made of a carbon steel, which is good. The positive thing of having a carbon steel, it's really easy to sharpen again. The down part is that it's not stainless steel, for example, so it will rust. So make sure when you're using this to dry it off. I'd recommend doing that for any knife, but this could rust. So be a little bit careful with that. It's a little bit thicker here, which is good. So it's meant for an outdoor or a bushcraft knife, if you want to chop up a little bit of trees and etc. The steel goes all the way down, so you wouldn't be able to break it or anything like that. This is really nice. This is a birch wood that's here. Comes with a little leather sheet, gotta have a leather sheet. And this is a little dangler we put on there too, also from Engström. And you can have it hanging like this on the side, so it's not too tied up under your jacket, for example. So highly recommend that one. Next up we have the must-have axes. And this is 2 different axes. And they're both Swedish. They're made from the brand called Bruk. And they're handmade. It says on top there who did this axe. This is MF, and this is some person called JB. This one is a little bit bigger. This is a little forest axe. This is the outdoor axe, I think it's called. I might be wrong. They are made out of a hickory wood. This one has a little bit of a shorter handle. This is a little bit longer handle. I'd use this one if I'm chopping up bigger pieces of wood, for example. The egg or the end of the axe, the steel parts, are almost the same in size. I'd say this one's a little bit bigger. And you need to use an axe when you chop up wood, or if you're prepping a fire. There's just so much use for an axe. A must-have when you're out camping. Next up, we have the Milica. You gotta have a Milica if you're cooking real good, proper outdoor food. When you get the Milica, just make sure to burn in the fat so it gets like a little bit darker, so you don't need to put that much fat once you're cooking food. Milica is a Finnish brand. It's made out of a cast iron, but it's kind of like a lightweight cast iron. This is the 48 centimeter one with 3 legs. So you can just put it on top of a fire if you want, and that's the only way I'd recommend using a Milica. You could do it over a gas stove too if you wanted, but then you might as well just be inside cooking. So I'd recommend this one. This is 2 accessories that we got here today too. It's just a spatula. When you're cooking food, you don't want to use your hands. You could do that too if you wanted. You could also use a piece of wood, but it's nice to have an extra spatula. This one's a little bit wider if you're doing paella, for example. This one's a little bit thinner if you're doing pancakes or other stuff. Next up we have the Fairhands. It's a classic. They've been with us for a long time. You probably recognize this. Fairhand is a German invention. This is the ones they used to have back in the day before electricity. Good parts about a Fairhand is 1, it looks really good. 2, it gives a little bit of warmth and it gives light. And it lasts for a really long time. You fill it up with kerosene here, and then you light up the wick in here, and you can exchange the wick, and you can always refill with more kerosene if you want it. It has a glass part out here. It does get a little bit hot, so be a little bit careful when you're using it. Be extra cautious when you're out camping, and if you're using this in a tent, I wouldn't recommend it. But if you do, don't fall asleep. If this falls over, then yeah, you'll be fried shrimp. You don't want to be that. Last but not least, we have a good old classic from Fjällräven. This is the Greenland jacket, waxed jacket. 35% cotton, 65% polyester, and they call their material G1000. So this is one of the classic jackets that Åke Nordin did. He's the founder of Fjällräven. It's a little bit wider, but that's good if you want to layer up, for example. It has a lot of big pockets too, so you can fit a lot of stuff. It's water repellent and wind resistant. If you do wax it up, which I'd highly recommend doing, then it takes much more water and the material will last for a little bit of a longer time. It's a little bit basic hood-wise, but that doesn't really matter. There's different versions of this. This is just one of the original jackets. And I recommend this when you're out camping, for example. This with a wool sweater underneath, you'll be warm, but you still have a shell jacket. I wouldn't use a Gore-Tex jacket when I'm out cooking food or having an axe or having a knife, because it'd just be too expensive to tear a Gore-Tex jacket. Plus, I want to use the Gore-Tex jacket when it's raining a lot and I'm on long hikes, and I use this one when I'm out glamping and just enjoying life to the fullest. So that's all the items. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and last but not least, keep on skotting. Gott, gott.